So Nicholas, thank you for coming all this way to join me on the Randomiser sofa today.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard of the Randomiser. It's a remarkable machine with every Gerry Anderson episode ever made in it.
It's amazing you can get it all in that.
Indeed so.
Yeah.
And the only way to get an episode out is to press the big button there. So if you'd like to do that, we'll see what we'll get this week. Thank you very much.
It's quite hot, isn't it?
It is quite hot. It does seem to be a bit further away than I normally would have it, but that's
Do you want
not
it closer?
a problem. That's fine. So what series are you hoping for an episode from this week?
I think one called Bringers of Wonder.
Bringers of Wonder.
Yeah.
I've already done that several years ago. I've been at this for 5 years now.
Yeah.
But we have an episode of...
I can't quite see it.
It's Joe 90.
Yes, Joe 90.
Joe 90.
Joe 90.
And the episode is Viva Cordova, which I think is the last one ever made. So
Wow,
Thank you
okay.
very much for that, Nicholas. Will you come back next week
Black
and
and white. Black
press
and
the
white.
button again?
It's black and white.
I think we'll play it in colour.
Will you?
Yeah, I think so. I think
okay.
we have the technology for that.
So I'll come back next week.
Come back next week if you would. We'll
Okay.
make another selection.
All right, that'd be lovely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Joe 90 time. The first time we've had Joe 90 in our new podcast studio. And what a lot of familiar puppets we have there. Lots of ex-Spectrum personnel, including that person. There we had Colonel White, Captain Grey, Dr. Fawn, I think Captain Brown, but yes, most importantly, the villain for this episode is played by none other than Captain Black. In this tale of political intrigue and electoral shenanigans, there's several notable things to talk about with this episode. I'm wondering actually if this is anything of Lady Penelope's house.
He is something you can never be.
And there's a familiar voice to Captain Scarlet fans, but not a voice that we'd heard in this show before. This is Elizabeth Morgan playing the role of President Cordova's wife. She's only in this Joe 90 episode. I don't know why Sylvia was either not available or maybe Liz happened to be passing by and they roped her in, but it's nice to hear her voice again, even if she's not credited.
6,481,207.
So he's doing quite well, the former world president. And this puppet, most famous as being the world president in Captain Scarlet, never seemed to play a villain. He was either politicians or scientists.
You must go out onto the balcony and speak to them.
Yes, go and have a chat with the people.
I see you are going to show yourself to the people.
It is the custom for the
And that's Jeremy Wilkin voicing General Valdez, aka Captain Black.
I concede victory and offer my congratulations.
In my most sincere and genuine voice.
It was one election.
And we'll get into this, but I believe this was the final episode of Joe 90 to be filmed. It's certainly number 30 in production order, produced alongside The Birthday. And there's a lot of, this is a big scale of an episode. Lots of puppets, lots of scenes, lots of drama, as this guy gives the nod to Captain Black. All very sinister. So I was just sitting there watching the opening titles of Joe 90 with a silly smile on my face, as I'm often prone to do. And it just occurred to me how strange it is to actually be watching this show here in Slough. It's just hit me that all of this is made, like, if not round the corner, then certainly, you know, just a few blocks from where I'm sitting. And yet here we are in, I don't know where this is meant to be, South America, possibly. But yes, our elected president, Juan Cordova, making a speech, and that doesn't look promising.
In my election campaign, I made you promises.
I also like as well that the people who were clearly supporting the other guy are, you know, just peaceably listening to the guy that they didn't vote for making his acceptance speech.
Whose greed and immorality have made them rich and powerful at your expense.
Yes, I noticed one of the puppet's hands was bent backwards there.
You have given me the opportunity.
So he's uncovered some political shenanigans. I've often wondered if that actually would be a better note on which to end the teaser, the explosion. And it's, you know, you don't actually see the explosion as such.
Congratulate you once more, Cordova. That was nearly a nasty accident.
Random balcony explosions are a common occurrence in wherever this is done, that she suspects that all is not well. Again, some lovely visuals throughout this whole episode. I mean, that little trickle of a river there, they didn't need to include that. It's just another lovely little bit of detail.
Although the general denied the right of being innocent until proven guilty to others, I will extend it to him.
Then you must
Yes, it's interesting that they've chosen Captain Black for a role in this episode. Again, as it's the last episode, I guess maybe they just thought, oh, what the heck, Captain Scarlet clearly isn't going to continue. We've got this puppet. It's a nice nod to the past. But yes, President Cordova is very reluctant to have a bodyguard.
I have nothing to fear.
No.
My mind is made up.
Except random explosions and sinister chauffeurs. What can possibly be done about this? I also like as well this reused music from Big Fish. But I mean, look at that set. I mean, the level of detail in that set for this one room in this one episode.
get me World Intelligence Network.
And I think you only see it again in one or two more scenes, maybe.
We've been asked to ensure the safety of Juan Cordova for the next few days.
That should be easy enough.
Now, there is one snag. We must guard Cordova without him knowing a thing about it.
He refuses to accept a conventional bodyguard of any kind?
Then how can we help him, Mr. Weston?
You can help him, Joe. We've arranged with his wife that her cousin from London will join the Cordovas for a few days. And that long-lost cousin from England.
But yes, this episode was produced, as far as I know, as the last episode. And sometimes it's obvious why certain episodes or certain scenes of episodes that came near the end of a run were shot at the end. For instance, with XL5, the destruction of Venus's beach house and the destruction of the XL5 model and the destruction of the Space City Tower in The Firefighters and Day in the Life of a Space General. You know, obviously you need to do that stuff at the end of the run, because if you then need to use those props again, you're stuffed if you've blown them up. And I think the reason that this episode is produced last, and I've never seen any confirmation of this, it's just personal theory. There's a very familiar passenger plane. It just occurred to me there that that shot was flopped. Yeah, the reason I believe this was produced last is because it involved repainting so many of the guest puppets brown, and there would be no sense in doing that if you then had to produce another episode next week where you needed all these characters back the colour they were previously. So it makes sense to stick this episode near or at the very end, and then if there are no more Supermarionation productions, you don't have to worry about repainting them. And I think also that's why certain characters, certain familiar guest puppets in the Secret Service never looked right in the Secret Service, because they'd been repainted for this and then were painted back, and it didn't always work. In fact, I think some, and I'm thinking of the Awesome puppet who was reading the results as they came in earlier. I have a feeling he stayed brown after this episode. And there were probably some duplicates of like the Spectrum captains and so on. So even though we see, I mean, pretty much all the male Spectrum personnel, well no, about half of them in this episode painted brown, yeah, there probably would have been spares left over. This is interesting as well, because we see this case every week on the end titles, but we never actually see Joe use it. Well, we never actually get a demonstration, rather, of where everything is. And yet, clearly, we have this prop where everything was designed to be opened with all these compartments and such. Aha!
Fantastic!
Yes, indeed.
Now the left.
So Joe is He's ambidextrous with that gun, shooting up all of the Cordova house's wine glasses.
Should convince you, Senora.
Karate is an art requiring concentration and timing, not strength.
Which we've never seen Joe use in any other episode. Go on. Go on.
Hiya!
Oh. And I don't think we see him use it in this episode after that. But I think he's been given the brain pattern of an all-round top agent to get him through this assignment.
All right, Mac. You and Sam follow in a helijet, but keep out of sight.
Yeah, I think a lot of the incidental music in this episode is from Big Fish.
What do you think of our country?
And there's elements as well from King for a Day. Probably some of the smaller buildings. I think actually there's a hotel from Child of the Sun God. Oh, he's got his happy face on. I have a feeling that limo turned up in the Secret Service as well. This helijet appeared in several episodes as well, most notably, not Hijacked, Breakout. Now the president is having a bit of a nap.
He can sleep anywhere.
Oh.
His election campaign has worn him out.
What about the driver?
He does not hear nor speak.
Ah.
But he has been with us.
Is that a good idea to have a driver that can't hear? That seems counterproductive.
And we can work out the best way to ensure the president's safety.
And it is an unusual story for Supermarionation world of protecting this politician. There is also a slight element of naivety to it as well, in terms of the villainy going on and how the villains are brought to justice. Because we know from our world that very often crooked politicians can just get away with whatever the heck they want to, and there are no consequences at all. So it's nice to see in this episode, proving that it is science fiction, certain characters get a bit of a comeuppance.
I thought I saw something in those rocks.
Oh, the driver was signalling. We've got some vans parked up ahead.
A signal?
Oh.
Joe 90 to Sam Luba.
How would they have got past this if the president wasn't a big, oblivious sleepyhead?
But I thought I saw something in the rocks about a mile back. Is there anything behind us?
Oh dear.
Can't see anything, Joe. Looks like a clear road.
Wait a minute. Look, Sam, that truck.
Got it, Mac. There's a truck about a mile behind you, Joe, moving pretty fast.
Ah, another familiar truck from Hijacked, that is from Hijacked, being driven by Captain Oka. Again, you can see the puppet's skin colour is totally different from the last time you saw him, but I would have to assume there were several ochre, grey, white, magenta heads.
Stop the car! Stop the car!
You will never succeed.
Ah,
Can speak!
we the Mysterons will be avenged! I just love how casually he throws himself out the door. Ah, luckily Joe's here to take the wheel. Oh, and this just looks so nice in HD. I know I keep saying it, but oh, thank goodness for network. I've seen clips since the Blu-rays came out. I've seen clips of the DVDs, and they just look wretched. I mean, you know, technically they look okay, but oh, compared to this is just beautiful.
Truck's closing in on you fast.
Okay, Sam. Take that helijet down and buzz them. There's enough dust around to force them off the road.
Ah, clever idea. See, it takes a WIN agent to come up with an idea like that. Unlike the pilot of this helijet, who is a WIN agent. I so like the expression they give each other there. That's Hank, the engine driver from Lone-Handed 90, who's the other passenger in this lorry getting clogged up with dust. Neither of them think to shut their windows, which is strange because the model clearly has shut windows.
Known as being blinded by science, Sam.
Ah.
Oh, you're getting as bad as Shane Weston, Mac.
Science! Ah, nice nod to Shane Weston's jokes there. Because Shane Weston doesn't really have anything to do in this episode. Oh, Mac's so happy about all this. And are we coming up to a hotel now? which I think is from a different episode. Wow. The president slept through all of that. Now, I mean, that is probably could be from Business Holiday. It's probably a model that was in a previous episode, maybe even as part of a larger building.
My dear, we here already?
You have
I don't remember seeing the world president puppet with a blinking head.
done well. We dropped him off on the way.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh no, he gets shot with the curare in
Worried.
Child of the Sun God,
Alone if anything had happened.
and his eyes are shut then.
I'm a very light sleeper, you know. Shall we go in?
Famous for it. Ah. See, Joe's done it again. Ah. And I mean, if I'm wrong, and that hotel has appeared in other episodes,
The same for my wife.
it's just a lovely little model, and I like the decor in the bar here. With some,
You shouldn't mix your drinks, my boy.
yeah, this is from Captain Scarlet, this background music, when the truck driver is all on his own in Big Ben Strikes Again. So the waiter with the sinister voice
And what do you think
has
about
added a little sinister extra to the president's drink,
Cool and refreshing after the city.
and only Joe has noticed.
Right on cue. Thank you. As they say in your country, Joe, cheers.
Mr. President,
What is wrong?
I'm sorry, Juan. I didn't want to spoil your evening.
And this episode is also one that there was some behind-the-scenes filming for. I don't remember what program it was. You'll find it as an extra on, I think, the HD 21 Blu-ray set of the uses of the video assist system. They show some filming from Doppelganger, and they show some filming from this episode. Not this scene. That's a familiar shot from Three's a Crowd, I think.
Not interested in the excuses for your failure.
Yeah, that line is played. We're talking about this footage of the video assist system here. That line is played out of the mouth of this puppet, who's just been assigned the task of murdering Cordova in his sleep. Yeah, there's a shot of the, we're now in the president's bedroom, and this behind-the-scenes footage has this door open, and this puppet starts saying, "I am not interested in the excuses for your failure," just as a demonstration. But it's interesting to see the puppet set up. I think there's a view from the bridge during the filming of this episode, and they show this shot coming up, I think, of the waiter about to knife the president, and a close-up head turn on the waiter's face. Yeah, that's one of the angles that they show. There's the knife, yeah. And it's just, you know, if you were going to record behind the scenes from an episode of Joe 90, you wouldn't necessarily pick this scene, but they did. Or that's just what was being filmed the day that crew turned up to record that little look at the video assist. So we have a bit of behind the scenes material for Viva Cordova. I think it's the only behind the scenes footage of the filming of Joe 90 that exists.
Now, where's my fishing hat?
Is the president's eyes all right?
I remember.
I'll get it for you.
Oh yes, Joe has stuffed the waiter in the cupboard.
To make a man feel good.
I've slept 22 out of the last 24 hours, and now I'm going fishing. So, who has Captain Black hired now? Now that the chauffeur has failed, the truck driver has failed, the hotel waiter has failed, who are you going to call? Well, if you're Captain Black, you're not without friends at Spectrum. Here are two divers. One is Clooney from... No, that's not Clooney, is it? That is Soames from White as Snow. But also, that is Dr. Fawn. But interestingly, it's Dr. Fawn's angry face, which...
Do not hesitate. Eliminate him.
Oh, that's a very Terry Nation line. Do not hesitate to eliminate him. Yeah, I don't think you ever saw Dr. Fawn's angry face in Captain Scarlet, mainly because he was barely ever in Captain Scarlet. But it's interesting that clearly they had that head knocking around the place.
Not a submarine, but underwater suits. Come on.
Oh no. So yes, the president is now facing an attack from beneath the sea while he fishes. And again, you know, I say about how wonderful this is in HD, but also HD can show up the fact that this is, you know, a painted backdrop, and you can see, you get more of an idea of what exactly you're looking at. But the effects of that background, those mountains in the foreground and the background, and the clouds and the sky, it's still all beautiful stuff. I just love looking at these shows in HD quality, beautiful 35mm. So Joe has now gone down after the underwater assassins, who are here to kill the president, because obviously Captain Black can't do that himself. And they've got to do this, make it look like an accident. But of course Joe is here, Joe's on the case, and you know, it's often said that underwater fight scenes are quite slow. Certainly they are in movies. I mean, there's a reason Thunderball is not one of my favourite James Bond films, because there's a lot of slow motion underwater fight stuff, but somehow I've never found that a problem with the Super Mario Nation shows. Now granted, it is quite distracting seeing the more realistic Captain Scarlet era puppets swimming, because, you know, they're so stiff and so rigid, and the limbs are kind of all over the place. But put the jazzy soundtrack over it. This is from Double Agent. Here comes a car. No time for that car. I think that was meant to be the police, or possibly it could be Sam and Mac arriving. Oh, there we go. Joe headbutted the other goon in the stomach, enough to knock him out. So Joe's made short work of the two underwater assassins, and the president, again, knows nothing. There was also a scene filmed for near the end of this episode of Captain Black realizing that the assassins have failed, so he tries to make his getaway through the undergrowth. And I think Sam possibly apprehends him. Someone apprehends him. There are some photos of that scene. It might even be the police who apprehended him. Yeah, that scene was presumably filmed. There are photos of Captain Black standing in the bushes, looking a bit confused. But everything's fine.
But if it's peace and the rest,
Sam and Mac are here now. Joe has taken care of every assassin.
not a thing all day.
Oh dear.
How did you get on, Joe?
Oh, we managed to find...
And this is what I find quite fun. Bearing in mind, this is the last scene of the last episode of Joe 90. What's the final shot? Well, it's of Captain Black under arrest. Yeah, what Captain Scarlet couldn't manage, Joe 90 could. I just think that's a beautifully, I don't even know what you want to call that image, but it's like, hey, we're going to end Joe 90 with the arch villain from the previous show, Captain Scarlet, under arrest. Lovely stuff. And that was Viva Cordova. As you know, I'm a bit of a Joe 90 fan, actually, I've got to say. And I get the feeling, you know, that episode is often shown as like episode 24, 25. It's sort of shuffled in a bit earlier than it was made. But I just get the sense with this one, if it indeed was the very last one made, they're sort of going all out in the service of a solid, if not classic story. It's just the production level, the production quality of this one that just raises it to another level. They throw everything into this. Every department is just working at full force. From the puppeteers, the set design, obviously the music is reused, but it's still great. And I have a lot of time for this episode. Such a small story, such a simple story, but just beautifully told. How lovely as well to see that naughty old Captain Black finally get his comeuppance. It took a whole series, but Joe 90 got there in the end.